At this time, I'm going to call to order the regular scheduled planning and zoning meeting for September 4th, 2014 at 6 p.m. This meeting is now in session. Mr. O'Geen, can you take roll, please?
Yes, sir. Chairman Woolley.
Present.
Vice Chair Patrick.
Present.
Commissioner Petty.
Present.
Commissioner Pranzo.
Present.
Commissioner Garcia. Present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First agenda item for this evening will be agenda item number 4. This is case number PZC 29-14 conditional use permit on the North Florence Tank Site. This is a presentation, discussion, recommendation for a conditional use permit request by the Town of Florence to allow the public utility buildings, structures, and facilities for public services use on the neighborhood multifamily R2 zone property located at 3949 North Iowa Avenue, Florence, Arizona, aka APN 200-71-2400. More specifically, this request is directly related to an additional water storage facility tank proposed on the site subject that has been previously reserved and developed for municipal utility and telecommunication purpose. Mr. O'Geen, do you have a presentation on this?
Chair, Vice Chair, Commission, good evening. We do not have a presentation on this case, and the reason why is we have been talking to the public on this case, and there's still a lot of public that wishes to talk with staff prior to this going to commission and before it goes to council. So, and also the person that would be the lead on this project is John Mitchell, in charge of the utilities for the Town of Florence. He also requested that we postpone. So with that said, staff did advertise a public hearing. We would recommend that the commission open the public hearing, but continue it to the October 16th date for planning and zoning. We did adjust the, that change was made a couple days ago with direction from John Mitchell for the 16th. So it has been changed on the posting on the website. We apologize that commission does not have that updated, but it is October 16th for the record.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing on case number PZC 29-14 conditional use permit. Public hearing is now open. Is there any public that would like to speak on this case at this time? In the absence of the public, I will close the public hearing. This public hearing is now closed. Moving on to
Chair,
yes,
excuse me.
you're correct.
We need to continue it to the October 16th and not close.
Oh,
We're going to open.
can't just motion to move it.
You close it, you motioned it, then you need a motion to do that. We're not making any motions tonight. We opened it, we're going to continue it to the 16th. And then we're going to continue it when the 16th, we'll
Okay.
bring it up again. It's already
What
open.
do I do, reopen it?
Yes.
And then I just make we're going to continue this public hearing until this date. I
Just,
thought we were actually just making a motion to move it to
just,
that date.
just as you started before, just say that
Okay,
you open it and it's continued to this date.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we reopen case PZC 2914 CUP.
Second.
at this time, I'm going to open public hearing on case PZC 29-14 CUP. Public hearing is now open.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue the
You don't
open.
move, right?
Yeah.
I just make
Chair,
the
Vice
statement.
Chair, we don't need to make any motions. We just need to.
You don't need to
The Chairman,
continue it?
just, excuse me?
You don't need to continue it till the
We
next
just make
meeting?
the statement.
Just make the statement. The chair needs to just ask to continue it to the following meeting. And
At this time, I'm going to leave the public hearing open until October 16, 2014, at the regular scheduled planning and zoning meeting.
14.
Is that correct now?
October 16th.
I said October 16, 2014.
Then that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. Now we can move on to the next agenda item. All right, next agenda item for this evening will be case number 5A. This is PZC 30-14 preliminary plat, Vista Grande at Walker Butte. This is a presentation, approval, disapproval a preliminary plat application for Vista Grande at Walker Butte submitted by the United Engineering Group. The subject site is approximately 154 acres in size and is located at the Union Pacific Railroad and south of Hiller Road alignment in Florence, Arizona. Mr. O'Gain, do we have a I'm sorry.
Yes, we do. Our town planner, Heath, will take the lead on this. Thanks.
Thank you. Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you for opening this meeting. Most of the plats that have come before has been in the Anthem community, but it's nice to see something that outside of the Anthem community coming before Commission, especially a preliminary plat. Tonight's presentation is the first phase of what is called the Walker Butte community. It is west of the Anthem community and also south of the Magic Ranch Oasis division. It's on the primarily on the western side of the town boundaries, north of the Gila River, and right before you is the actual PUD in the land area that they're going to be planning. The small portion up on the northern where you see the yellow, the green, and the white, that's where the P-plat is going to be located. Give you a little bit of background of this, and the history of this. This area was annexed and brought into the town on February 2nd, 2005. And it previously went through and was approved as a preliminary plat in 2006. And also was extended in 2007. Due to the housing downturn at the time, the plat expired, and the owner at this time has decided to bring it back with some adjustments and changes to the plat and what you see before you. So a little bit of to show you a little bit of what the plat looks like. You have it before you. The community consists of 605 single-family residential lots. The community is 154 acres in size. It's zoned PUD in R1, which is very similar to a lot of the other PUD communities with residential single-family housing subdivisions. So the lot size is going to be between just over 5,000 square feet, and the highest is going to be, the largest lot will be about 13,000 square feet. Two different lot product sizes, which is 45 feet by 115 feet and 55 feet by 120. So some of the concerns that staff had was access to the plat. So let's go back here. I'm going to use the mouse on here to help you realize, because of the constraints of the location of this area, you have the Union Pacific Railroad that borders the eastern portion of this plat. Due to the railroad, you're going to have limited crossing and limited access across that. So right now, since it's up in the northern portion, with all the development and proposals that's going to be going up here through the annexation area that was just approved, this road is called Walker Granite Road, and it's a minor arterial, which is 120. The right-of-way is 120 feet width. So this road will be connecting to Hunt Highway by the Magic Ranch Oasis, and coming down south into the community, where one of the major collectors that's going to be going through the community, which is right here. So zooming back in, this is going to be the main thoroughfare through the community, and they also have two other entrances into the community, which is right here and here. So they're going to have 3 access points of ingress, egress into the community. One of the other elements that staff looked at and approved internally was the landscape plan. One of the things we look at is the open space elements that's going to bring into the community, because we want to make sure that each plat and subdivision has adequate open space and park space for the community, also for drainage and on-site retention. So this is the overall landscape plan. Within your packets, you have more detailed and zoom-ins of these different, the park and the natural space. The nice thing about this plat that I like personally is it's going to have a natural open space and hill space, which is going to be on the southern portion here. And they're going to have some amenities of trails and networks that connect into the area. In addition, they're going to have these two main park areas with playground equipment, barbecue, ramadas, just, you know, average, normal stuff that you're going to see in community parks. Also trail network that goes around and along the railroad and open space. We're actually pretty pleased with a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in this community, where one of the things we look at is the access to open space and how far some of the community will have to walk to get and enjoy the amenities within their community. But we, after passing this plat throughout the different departments, this GIS, fire department, and community development and town engineer, public works, they made the necessary changes that staff suggested per code, and also that we found that the pre-plat was in conformance with the PUD and the town requirements. So staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission be approved. The Planning and Zoning Commission approve Vista Grande at Walker Butte P-plat, subject to any additional conditions, which is also in front of you. If you have any questions, staff is here. Also, the applicant is here for United Engineering.
Okay. Commissioners?
I just have one quick one, and it's, is there going to be a fence along the railroad?
Excuse me. Chair, Vice Chair, could you say your name prior to making comments? This helps.
Larry Patrick.
There we go. Thank you.
Is there going to be a fence along the border with Union Pacific Railroad tracks?
There are going to be fence elements in here.
Typically, it's handled through landscape buffering. I don't think we specifically have called out any type of fencing, but normally we look at doing at least 20 to 25 feet of landscape buffering to kind of help with that, to help mitigate any noise issues that come up. Yeah, I don't remember it calling out.
It
No.
doesn't say that from I remember from the landscape conceptual plan. It talks about the different elements and walls that they're going to be having in the community, but I don't remember.
And it's also problematic in the sense that there's an easement that exists, and typically, if you're going to do a wall, that would have to be on the property owner. Now, they do back fence walls for the properties that would be up against it. However, to get a wall on the railroad easement may be difficult, if not problematic. So it's not something we typically see. That's why they try to handle that with a landscape buffer.
Okay.
Mostly.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have one, if it's all right. Actually, I just need to understand something.
Yes.
Please say your name, sir.
Gary Pranzo.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be them saying their name. Anyway, on the first page, page 1 of the map plat, under item 5, which is all the way down the bottom of the sheet, it says that a 25 by 25 site visibility triangle easement shall be at all local-to-local intersections. The first question on it is, what is a local-to-local intersection? Is that something inside the subdivision?
Well, I've never heard. State your name.
Ben Riddle from United Engineering Group. Local street will typically be inside of the subdivision, so subdivision, just, like 2 streets intersecting inside the subdivision, but it's more specifically laid out in the engineering code for the town. Will have an exact description of what a local intersection would be, or local street.
I've heard of that being enforced here in Florence as well, in the old part of town. And in my mind, I look at it and say, well, okay, I got a 50-foot wide lot. I'm going to take half of that, and then I'm going to come towards the back of the lot another 25 feet, which is a third of it, at least. How do I place a house on that
It's a pretty typical setback. It's actually more than just a town of Florence requirement. It's kind of a,
I'm wondering where it comes from.
this thing, making me sound loud. I believe it comes from the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control. Because if you can't see, it's like traffic engineering.
I know, but inside a residential area, 25 feet is a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can't see a car coming from 25 feet, it actually that doesn't seem that far to me. 'Cause if
It's
you
actually
can't
not
see
that,
20
it's not
yeah.
that a big of a setback because it's at a triangle. And at these intersections, a lot of the Pulte product that comes in front of us has that, so it's part of the landscape and the setback. So they always meet everything that we've looked at for site standards. If you go to, actually, it's not on this plat.
I'm on the homeowner's side on this one.
Yeah. We don't have it in front of you. A future plat that's going to be coming before the commission actually has, gives us detail and shows you where the house is and where a side street, where local to local is.
Right.
And it shows you where the site triangle is. So it basically goes into part of their yard, and usually there'll be like a 5-foot setback on local streets. I've never, in a lot of the plats that I've reviewed and site plans for homes, it's never come close to the single-family home or, restrict what they can build on those homes, so.
All right, when I read it, I felt like it was excessive.
Okay.
If somebody on a corner lot wanted to put a front yard fence, it looked like hell.
Yeah.
And it does kind of get laid out here at the bottom of page 1, where they show the minimum setbacks. And it points
there
to
it
that
is, yeah.
25 by 25 site
Yeah, I saw
visibility.
that.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, thank you. I
Yep.
missed that.
Commission, any other questions?
Yeah, actually, I do. If we could go back to the overview, the picture.
Of the whole area?
Yeah,
Right here?
yeah. My question is all going to be about egress, because I've been around for a long time, and I've seen this property come and go, and it's always been egress. So as it stands right now, if I understand, the only true egress in and out of that property is going to be Walker Granite, correct?
That's correct.
Because I'm quite sure the applicant has not even talked to the railroad yet about a crossing.
Yes, they have.
They have, because
They
that is a
have.
very, very, very long process.
And it's been ongoing for a couple of years. Obviously, it was more active when the possibility of this product coming sooner was a possibility back in 2008, 2009.
Right.
Well, I have been in meetings with where they were trying to get the proper access on the areas shown in front of you. So no, they've been in the works for quite a while.
Yeah. So, and that's where the Merrill Ranch Parkway, right here in the middle, that's going to be the southern portion. Within the staff report, we said, possibility of Franklin Road or definitely Merrill Ranch. Franklin Road is going to be turning down, but that's the second portion.
Right, and I see that part. My
Chair?
concern is if this goes, go ahead.
Chair, Commission, we actually have plats in place. They're expired, but we have pre-plats that actually extend all the way south past that crossing down by the railroad. The different levels, different phases that they submitted to us, but as I said before, the housing market came to a halt. And so they allowed those plats to expire. So all this area has been investigated. We've talked about it. Matter of fact, I believe the second phase is coming to this, coming south. They even have I believe it's a secondary access point for the fire department to be able to get in there sooner than having to go all the way to the north and come down south again.
Well,
So-
if I remember, that was the big issue last time too, was that the town fire department actually had an issue with just one street in and out. So my concern really, it's not for or against, is how far along in the process is that railroad crossing? Because if this goes to final plat in the next several months or so, as soon as they get final plat, they can start building and selling homes. So my concern is, I don't want to put the horse before the carrot.
Chair,
The crossing needs to be in place first before we start building homes.
Chairman Woolley, Commission, they have a 2-year timeframe on these
Agreed.
replats. So if they don't ask for an extension, if we go 2 years, then it would have to be submitted to, as a final plat to council, which typically they have a year. So in theory, they have 3 years, which should be adequate time to address the crossing if they're down far further south with the other plats that they presented. Now, I personally believe that we won't see any activity in this area for 2 to 3 years. It may be sooner than later, we don't know. And also with the addition of the annexations, there's a lot that could happen. So the staff is aware of the crossing, Public Works is aware of the crossing, we have been discussing it, and now that this plat is potentially going to final plat, it'll be talked about and hopefully resolved soon. Now, as you understand, when it goes to final plat, at that point, when it gets approved at the final plat level, they have to put down sureties, including monies to finish this product. So they're not going to go to that level unless
I know, I
all
agree.
those issues have been resolved.
And the fire department's already reviewed this, but they'll get another shot for the final plat just to
Absolutely.
make sure it's, there's no concerns with ingress egress.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern that I'm just voicing is this particular leg right here has always been an egress issue. And I just don't want to see it be one of those things where we go, oops, well, now we're building and we got homeowners moving in, but there's still no railroad crossing. And I know that process with the railroad isn't, you don't just pick up a phone and go, hey, I need a railroad crossing at this location. It's a long, drawn-out process. I mean, look how long it took for, what was it, Crisscross Ranch up off of Gansel, right before you get to the hospital? It took them the better part of almost 5 years just to extend it out from the initial crossing.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy process, and I don't want to get stuck in that,
No.
okay, we're building homes
don't.
now and there's no crossing.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Definitely.
I'm good, thank you.
We
Any more
understand, we
questions?
agree. Any other questions from the commission?
I guess I could, yeah. Yeah, I have one for the applicant. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Ben Riddle, United Engineering, 1918 East Desert Lane, Phoenix, Arizona, 85042.
This is a standard question I ask for all applicants. Have you seen the recommendations that were provided by staff?
Yes, I have.
And do you concur with those recommendations?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any further questions? If there's no further questions, I'll take a motion on this case.
I've got a question for the chairman, actually.
Yes, sir.
The railroad crossings, just today, and I've never encountered a train there before, but the crossing on Hunt Highway, right at the intersection of where we're looking at this plat, was easily as long as that crossing and the proposed crossing. Is it possible to make the railroad crossing easement or whatever you call it, the second way in, a stipulation to final plat?
You talking about the Hunt Highway?
Yeah.
Well, that's an issue that'll come up with the widening of Hunt Highway eventually. Because that'll have to be widened when they widen Hunt Highway.
For my own information, could you repeat your question,
I'll let him answer that better than I can.
Commission?
Yeah.
Could you repeat your question to me?
What's bothering me is that on this presentation, I see an existing gated railroad crossing, and I see the proposed one. And today, and it's the only time I've ever seen a train there, but today I got stuck at the railroad crossing, and it was easily as long as these two crossings. So if I needed to bring an emergency vehicle into this proposed subdivision, I would have been sitting at a railroad crossing waiting for the train to get through. So my question is, because I don't know the procedure, my question is, can we stipulate that this has to be addressed prior to the final plat?
So just so I make myself clear, the plat doesn't encompass any railroad at this point, crossing.
Well, you can't get in and out of there. I mean, there should be two ways to get in and out. If there's an emergency, whether it's
So
an
you're saying
ambulance,
that the crossing to the south,
the proposed railroad crossing that doesn't exist today,
Merrill Ranch.
okay?
okay, so the
The
one,
train I saw today easily covered the existing one and the one that's proposed, all at the same time. Okay? So if I had an emergency and I'm trying to get a vehicle in there, both my railroad crossings would be blocked. I wouldn't be able to get in.
Commissioner Harold, I'm just gonna-
but I don't think you can put, but you don't think you can put a condition on an existing road. It's not even a road today. Think it is.
What, Walker Butte? Walker Butte would be a town.
Well, but what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I'll talk to him about the other
Go ahead.
facilities. Okay. Apologize for that, Commission. Just kind of give you an update about the area. Let me get up here. So yeah, that is a concern. It's a real concern because right now the Fire Station 2 is right here in the Anthem community. With the annexations being approved, an additional fire station within the next few years is going to be located up near Arizona Farms.
On the
But
wrong
also
side of the tracks.
What's that?
On the wrong side of the tracks.
It's going to be on the west side of the,
Oh, okay.
no,
Thought it was on the
it's
east.
going to be on the east side. But in additional, when there's emergency responses, rural metro is a backup, and same with police and the sheriff's department. So they're always working together to make sure for fire and for emergency responses. That's one of the safety concerns in the area because this railroad runs through the whole valley, and a lot of railroad crossings are within the city limits.
All right,
So
well, under the staff recommendations,
yeah.
would number 4 address my concern that the railroad crossings be addressed prior to final plat?
It's, Chair, Commissioners, in speaking with the town engineer, it hasn't, this issue hasn't come up. So I don't think, at this point, we have the authority or ability to ask for the crossing, that issue to be resolved. Now, we will bring it up. It'll be a point of concern, and we will definitely try to talk to the town engineer, but I don't think we can attach it to the recommendations because of the proximity to the plat that's being presented tonight. I believe that crossing wouldn't come into effect until the 3rd or even the 4th phase of this project, which could be several years away. And the other issue is, as you can see from this map, the distance to provide a temporary access all the way down to that crossing, it's a huge expense on their part. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. I'm saying it'd be, yeah, it's something that we have to talk about. I honestly don't have an answer as to
Okay.
if we can add it
So
to.
the staff can put these recommendations, and according to, subject to the following conditions and approval. But the commission cannot. Is that correct?
Yes. Because what we're focusing on tonight for the pre-plat is the location of the plat, the circulation within the plat. As far as who makes decisions on the roadway size, the
further
railroad
outside.
crossings, that's the town engineer's responsibility, not this commission's. Now, as I mentioned before, I definitely bring it up to his attention, but to tie it into this plat, I don't know if it's something that I can even, I don't think it's something we can do.
Well,
If it pertains to the plat, and we were looking at, it being next to it, then yes. it's something that needs to be taken care of. But this plat may go forward, may go to final plat in a year. If it starts to get built out, they may not even start the rest of the phases for several years from now. So I will definitely ask and check with the engineer on that. And if I'm wrong, I can call you back up and I can,
Well, I'll just note it, when the final plat
Yes.
comes,
yes,
but
absolutely.
not more than one egress, I'll vote it down.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I'm confused now, so you gotta help me out here. I'm not trying to make an issue out of a preliminary plat, but now you're telling me that when we approve a preliminary plat, that we have no decision on the egress or ingress of a property?
No, if it pertains to the property, yes, but he's talking about a secondary access that won't be addressed for several years from now.
Okay, but.
So yes,
earlier-
absolutely.
Earlier in the presentation, we did say that the secondary access was gonna be there. Now we're saying it's not going to be. So there's only gonna be one way into that property.
When I heard,
Is that correct?
when I heard the town planner explain the project, I only heard him talk about one way in, one way out.
So
As of this point, there isn't a secondary emergency access.
Okay.
No, but I can tell you that Franklin and Lyman, they have been discussing a possible emergency access at that point, which would be where the road line crosses to the east. But once again, I mean, that was when they were looking at doing, the second and third phase of this project.
I think of other properties that are along that road, and my concern ultimately is, yeah, Oasis is all along Hunt Highway, that's only one road, but there's multiple ways to get out of those subdivisions. We're leaving one way out, is what we're doing.
Correct.
If they go to the left, they're gonna hit the desert, they have no place to go.
Correct.
If they go to the right, they get to Hunt Highway. That's the only way out. I don't care how many driveways we have into the subdivision, we still only got one street out of there, okay? Along Oasis Ranch and all that, there's multiple ways to get out. They're not all being funneled onto one street where everybody has to get to that one intersection to get out. That's my biggest concern.
That's right.
It's I don't know.
No, you're correct, Chair. On the west side, the Oasis side actually has, I think, 2 or 3 access points, but on the east side, the Magic Ranch portion only has 1 point. It's just right south of the where the railroad crosses, Hunt Highway, and there's a lot more homes at that site right now, and that's been a concern.
Right,
with
but
some of
Magic
the
Ranch
answers,
at least has a small dirt road that connects them to the site that's just
Yeah.
north of them, so they can always exit out towards Arizona Farms. In the event that everybody would have to do some kind of mass exodus out of that area. So I'm just voicing my opinion. It's still the same horse that we presented several years ago. There's no answer because it's blocked in a corner. And one road in is not good planning.
Chair, Vice Chair.
It's not good planning.
Just to point something out, if this was even a possibility as of today, we're talking about bringing,
Yeah, use the mouse that way we can see.
Sorry.
Thanks, appreciate it.
so even if this, what we're talking about tonight, this roadway was a possibility. Okay, the expense to build this road, temporary access, to get approval from the crossing, from the railroad crossing, to this point, is as far as we could go. Going further to Anthem, that takes Anthem approval. And you have to get them to say, yes, we're going to give you temp access. No, that part I can tell you hasn't been talked about. So even if we were to get to this point, we still have to talk with Anthem, Pulte, and say, hey, oh yeah, by the way, we need you to build a temporary access all the way across to this point here, when I know that hasn't been discussed. I mean, I believe this area is not even Anthem, it belongs to it's state land. So no, that's the other reason why it hasn't been discussed, it hasn't gone any further than it has. The other possibility would be going to the north, crossing over here. Now, as I mentioned before, Commission does have complete, when it comes to the actual plat itself, yes, you guys get to look at the circulation, how it works and how they get in, how they get out. But I'm pretty confident that this whole road that we're talking about right now has not been discussed. This has not been discussed. And as I know, this is impossible right now because you're going through state land, and we'd also have to get Pulte involved in this portion here. So I could say with certainty that as of tonight, there's one way in and one way out here. They are looking at other ways to possibly bring emergency access once more of this is developed, and we will bring it up to their attention. We do agree that it's very important to have possible ways, but if you look at the railroad tracks themselves, this is the only area they've talked about for a crossing. They haven't talked about anywhere else. So,
It's Union Pacific, any closer to the subdivision, and you're still gonna be locked out by a train going by. And you have
So-
a 100-car, I watched a 100-car train go by today. I was amazed, I never saw one that long go through that area. So if
So,
you're
Chair-
sitting on the other side of that railroad track with your fire truck or your ambulance, the guy on the other side's not doing too well.
staff can appreciate your concern, but we want to be as upfront and open with you as possible. To tell you that they talked about doing that now, no, it hasn't been discussed. There's several other parties that have to be involved, and I know they haven't been to the table yet. So tonight, as mentioned, there's one way in here and one way out. And it's up to the commission if they wish to approve tonight or to disapprove.
Can I ask a question?
Commissioner Garcia? Yes, please. Speak into the mic.
Sorry. Am I on now?
Yes.
Billy Joe Garcia, I have a question for the developer if they're able to respond, because obviously you can sense that egress is a problem, and I haven't said anything, but it occurred to me as well. And you just have to think about the emergency situations, and if every person, I flipped through here, there's a lot of homes in here, and if you imagine, I was in Washington, D.C. on 9/11, and I watched people walk out of the city, and when you have that visual impact of people trying to evacuate an area and a lot of people at once, it just really comes home to you that this can happen. And it can be a real concern. So when we're looking at this block, and I'm assuming you've got a block wall around this development all the way around on 3 sides at least, and then you have this, basically one road, as the chair pointed out, one road in and out. I mean, that's the only way out, right? So my question to you is, was this ever a concern to you all as you laid out the plan? Did it ever occur that possibly there could be another way out, possibly even if it was an emergency through another development like the Mirage to the north? Was any of that considered or discussed?
Yeah, I mean, we realized that the access on the west side there on Walker Butte, Walker Granite Parkway, is limiting, and right now we do have, at the northeast corner, there is some green space that we're providing as an emergency access if need be. I don't think you can see it on this particular slide. I only see it on the one. No, it's this one.
Okay, do I have any further questions? Is there any further questions? If there's no further questions, I will take a motion on this case.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve preliminary plat case PZC-30-14-TP with staff recommendation and stipulations, and also officially note that there is a grave amount of concern regarding access.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion on the floor this evening to approve the preliminary plat on case number PZC 30-14, the Vista Grande at Walker Butte. The motion this evening was made by Commissioner Petty and was seconded by Commissioner Puttrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Please note for the record that it was 4 approved, 1 against.
Chair, if I may.
All right.
2 opposed.
Chair, if I may, would,
Hear his response, so it appears that it's not a concern to anybody.
I oppose this.
Chair,
I'm sorry.
Commission, if I may, we're going to do a roll call vote.
Yeah, let's do that, because I didn't hear everybody respond, so I assumed they were yays. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Chairman Woolley,
Nay.
Vice Chair Patrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Petty,
Aye.
Commissioner Pranzo,
Nay.
Commissioner Garcia.
Nay.
Motion fails.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at this time, the motion fails, and I'm assuming it's the egress. We're putting ourselves in a situation where we're going to cause a problem, I don't know, I just wasn't getting answers. I was getting a lot of, this should happen, this will happen. So, we've got to deal with that situation. You've been here a long time with me. This is not the first time that this area has created an issue. And it's always the same thing every time. It's the egress in and out of that property. So, all right, next agenda item for this evening will be agenda item number 6, staff report. And I believe you're going to do a report on the Padilla Park at Silver King Plaza. Is that correct?
Chair, Commission, yes, I would do a brief presentation on the Padilla Park at the Silver King Plaza. If you've had a chance to go by there, or you haven't, please go by, take a look. They've already placed the restrooms for the facility. The splash pad has taken place. They've already put in place the stage. They've run all the electrical and the wiring that's required. All the plumbing is in place. They've already put up the mounting for the mound dirt for
The grassy knoll.
the grassy knoll, or as we call the amphitheater. Real excited. This project is finally starting to take shape. We're starting to see the walls coming up. You'll be seeing the landscaping. The trees should be coming up, I believe, here pretty quick. This is supposed to be in place and done by the end of October, so we're there. I think the last couple of weeks you're going to start seeing a park take place. All the groundwork is in. We're real excited. We hit a couple of snags, as you know. We found some bottles that cost the town of Florence a tremendous amount of money. However, we were able to preserve the site as requested and directed by the state archaeologist. So we made all those entities happy. And as planners, we're real excited to see this finally take place. This is going to be an amenity for the town of Florence, something that we don't already have. And it's the way it was designed is to keep the public in place, to provide entertainment, and also to be an amenity to the restaurants that may or may not come into the Silver King. And we also have to get approval by SHPO due to the fact that it's a historic site, and now it's all one. So we're real excited. We got markers coming in as well. We're going to have markers displayed on the site that talk about the expensive bottles that were found and the other fragments of historical significance that were found. We also have plaques that are going to go on the piers as you walk in, and you should start seeing here within the next week, or I think even this week, the downtown historic sign that already exists to the north is going to go also in this corner next to the Silver King. The same exact one. It lights up at night. It's really cool.
Well, the contractor needs to be complimented on his dust control, his noise control, vehicles, allowing traffic to get through. It has not been intrusive whatsoever.
Good. Very good. No, so if you get a chance, go take a look. I'm sure we'll be doing an opening ceremony for the Padilla Park. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, next agenda item for this evening will be call to the public for commission response. Call the public for comments on the issues within the jurisdiction of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Individual commission members may respond to criticism made, may ask staff to review a matter raised, or may ask that the matter be put on a future agenda. I'm now opening the call to the public. Is there any public that would like to address the commission? At this time, I'm closing the call to the public. Next agenda item will be number 8, call to the commission. Commissioner Pranzo?
Nothing.
Commissioner Patrick?
Yeah, will you let us know when this grand opening is? Send us an email.
Yes, sir.
And if we do this over again for this preliminary plat, can we have the town engineer here to talk about what's going to be done with access, ingress, egress? Have a little more information on that?
Yes. Well, no, wait, let me restate that. I will convey your concern to him. I can't promise you he'll be here, but if we can't get him, we can probably get someone from the other team.
Well, as long as we get adequate information so we know what's going to happen.
Right.
Commissioner Garcia?
Nothing.
Commissioner Petty?
Nothing.
I just wanted to say, guys, you do a great job, okay? Please understand that this evening had nothing to do with you guys. I think we all have the same concern about that property, so I think we just need to go back and look at it and see what can be done to make it right. So other than that, you guys always do great work. All right? I have nothing else. With that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Go ahead.
Somebody?
Make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:46. The motion made by Commissioner Pranzo, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is now adjourned.